What's going on, guys, and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the level 15 stagger talents in Vermintide 2. So I've kind of made a nice little, color-coded table chart here for your viewing and understanding pleasure. If you're mathematically challenged like me, colors always help. So I've kind of created a hypothetical scenario here with a imagined weapon that does 10 damage. We're going to say it does 10 damage. So for people who are kind of maybe newer to this type of thing, maybe don't really understand how damage calculation works, it works in a sequence of 3 hits. So you have, you can hit an enemy once, you can call it a hit, but it's technically a stagger count, right? So you have 1, 2, 3 stagger counts, and then if you were to keep hitting that enemy, say with a 4th hit, it would reset to be like the number 1, the first stagger count, 2nd, 3rd, again, and then rinse repeat. So if you hypothetically hit an enemy 9 times, you would run through this sequence of stagger counts 3 times. So there you go. The first talent we're going to be talking about, Smiter, is a pretty good talent. It gives you a 20% increase in your bonus damage on the first count of stagger. So that's really good for hitting one-shot breakpoints. It's very good against monsters. It's a weapon like the Executioner Sword or the Sword and Dagger work very well with Smiter. Our hypothetical weapon here doing 10 damage with Smiter obviously would be doing 12. It's the same thing on the second count of stagger, a 20% bonus damage, again doing 12 damage on that second hit. And then the third count of stagger, 40% increase in bonus damage, so now you're up to 14. So, I should just mention real quick, the default damage calculation is a 0% increase on the first hit, a 20% increase on the second hit, and then a 40% increase in bonus damage on the third count of stagger. So Smiter just gets more on the first hit. Mainstay has the default on the first hit, a 0% bonus damage, so your weapon's going to be doing 10 damage there. The second count of stagger, however, gets a 40% increase in bonus damage, 14. So Smiter doing more for one-shot breakpoints, Smiter and Mainstay effectively tying, doing on paper the same amount of damage as the other. And then the third count of stagger, Mainstay gets a 60% bonus damage increase, so 16 instead of the Smiter's 14. So in 3 hits on paper, a Mainstay would be getting, Mainstay would be doing more damage than Smiter, but we'll get into that in a little bit. We'll talk about that at the end of this. But yeah, enhanced power is kind of weird because in the game it says it's a 7% increase to your total power level, but that's actually wrong. It's a 7.5% increase to your total power level. I don't know why they didn't want to put the 0.5 in there. It seems weird, but hey, it equates to a 10% increase in damage across the board for both melee and range attacks. So you can see here each count of stagger is going to be the same, 10% increase, that's 11 damage with our made up weapon here, and then whatever your range weapon would be doing, 10% for that as well. I believe that also works with your ultimate. If you have like Bounty Hunter's double shot ultimate, it would work with that. Now we get into the ones that are just slightly more complicated. As you can see, I've made some things in green, I've made some things in red. Red would be like the buff, whatever the buff that the talent gives, I've put it in red, and green is kind of the standard stuff. So as you can see here, Assassin, the green is basically just the default damage calculation in Vermintide 2. So you have 0% bonus damage on the first hit, 20% bonus damage on the second hit, 40% on the third hit. But what Assassin does, which is kind of cool, it gives you a 40% bonus damage if you crit or headshot, which is really cool. Very good with classes like Shade. I can't think of very many others actually, but like Shade comes to mind, and I'm stupid, so take that as the example. So yeah. The first hit, if you get a body shot and you don't crit, you'll be doing 10 damage. But if you get a headshot or if you crit, you'll be doing 40% more, which is 14, which is cool. The second counter stagger, you'd be doing a 20% bonus damage if you got a body shot that did not crit, 12 damage, but if you got a headshot or if you crit with that, 16, 40% more. Pretty nice. And of course for the third counter stagger, 40% base damage would be 14, and then if you crit or got a headshot, it would be 40% more, 18. I think you understand. And then down here you have Bulwark. Bulwark is pretty much only to be used with shields, or if you're for some reason doing just a super staggery kind of build without a shield. I don't know why you would be doing that, but I guess it's possible. So Bulwark, again, 0% on the first count of stagger, because what Bulwark does is when you stagger something, you and your entire party get to do 10% more damage to that staggered enemy for 2 seconds. So obviously you can't get that on the very first hit of Bulwark. It wouldn't make sense. But for the second and third hits, the second hit, if you wait too long to hit him again, if you wait that 2 seconds, obviously it's just going to be a 20% increase in your damage, doing 12 with our made-up weapon. But if you hit him again within that 2 second window, that's a 10% extra damage for you. Congratulations, 13 instead of 12. And the third count of stagger, 40 for 14, and then again, if you are quick on the draw, quick on that attack, you do 1 more damage, 10% for 15. So some things to note down here. I've effectively have a little ranking system here. I believe if you're going for straight damage, this is kind of how I feel about the talents. Assassin, number 1. This is the biggest damage talent. It benefits greatly from crits, from headshots. It rewards high skill. It's very good with like some dual weapons, characters with lots of crit chance. Super good. Smiter is number 2. And a lot of people will think that Mainstay is better than Smiter. And before they kind of fixed it, I guess you could say that it was. But here's the thing about Smiter. Smiter does, at least on Legend, I'll say this for Legend and Under. I won't include Cataclysm on this, but for Legend and Under, Smiter does more overall damage to hordes, and it's much, much better for monsters. That's right. You heard that right. Mainstay is effectively useless for monsters because monsters are nearly impossible to stagger, and they are not staggered for very long. And you're going to have to get 3 hits to do more damage than Smiter on a monster. Whereas Smiter, you don't even have to stagger it. It's just the first hit. You're doing 20% more damage. So it's a lot better for those. And for hordes, as I mentioned, Smiter is also much better because infantry have very low health, right? So you're not... They're going to die before you hit them 3 times. Which is in my approximation, in my opinion, my thinking, whatever, Smiter is a better choice because it does more damage faster to enemies that are going to die quicker. Because it's not just you, unless you're solo, of course. It's you and 3 other people that have, maybe one of them has Assassin, maybe somebody has Enhanced Power, maybe another person has Smiter, maybe they have Mainstay. I don't know. Either way, they're going to do pretty good damage, and if you're all going after that horde at the same time, it's better to take Smiter than Mainstay. That's just kind of my thinking of it. Enhanced Power is used to hit a lot of breakpoints and, do like the range build thing. Bulwark obviously doesn't do that much damage, but it's a decent support talent. But like I said, if you're going for straight DPS, Assassin and Smiter are your 2 best bets. If you have any questions, comments, things to add, feel free. Hopefully I didn't fuck anything up. Ciao, guys.